When I was a young man, one of the things that I wish someone had sat me down and taught me was how to structure life. And I'm not talking about the habits and the morning routines and the night routines that are like 14 million steps. I'm talking about the general boxes that we put certain actions into. And it'll make more sense as I talk about it. But as with any other episode and video on this channel, it's essentially a conversation for the younger version of myself. I live a very blessed life. In many ways, I've achieved almost all the goals that I'd set for myself, and others are in the works, and bigger ones are being made. But at the same time, when you look back at life, now that I'm in my 30s, you also reflect on what you could have done better and the opportunities that you missed and the time that was wasted. And I think no matter who you are and how well you live your life, you're always going to have these things where you could have optimized for a little bit more. So essentially, this is a conversation for teenage or 20-year-old me. There's a lot of things I would have said to him and hope that he wasn't as stubborn as I was to actually listen and apply. And who knows how much further I would be in my life right now. Maybe the bigger goals would already be here. Maybe I'd have more memories and stories to tell. But nonetheless, where I am is where I am. So I hope this at least helps other people out there that maybe are younger or regardless of how old you are to help put you on the right path. Now, the first thing to understand is that structure actually allows you freedom. And these days, the internet's just turned into this challenge of who can have the most complicated morning routine, and it's basically turned into a personality. That's not what I'm talking about. But it is important to recognize the value of routines and discipline. There's that old saying that discipline is freedom, and it is very true. So I'm not going to focus a whole lot on motivating you discipline-wise. Hopefully you already recognize the importance of that. But this framework that I'm talking about does require discipline and structure at the very foundation. However you decide to apply that in your life, whatever routine you want to use, whatever productivity app you want to use, by all means, go for it. But just remember that you're a living, breathing human being. You're not some algorithm that just executes a routine all day and calls it a life. So I want you to think of it as a two-layer system where layer one is the foundation of your life. And I'll make another video about how I've learned to set good goals. But for now, layer one is sort of the boring stuff. And by boring, I don't mean necessarily a bad thing, but just the basics. Your career, the gym, family. At least these were my three pillars in layer one that form that foundation. These are the major things where if they're all going well, then regardless of how things are going otherwise, there's time, there's energy to take care of whatever might not be going well. But if any of these three pillars is to fall, then that's a big deal. Now, the key with layer one is to be so dialed in with your habits and your routines where you don't even have to think about it. There's no negotiating here. There's no need for creativity. It's just execution on the most important things that take care of these aspects of life. And this is the layer that, if done right, should provide your life with stability, a sense of fulfillment, not like you're necessarily serving your purpose or fulfilling your potential, but fulfillment as in you're doing good at multiple different major areas of life. So as I said, layer one, it mainly runs on habits and routines. There's no need to get fancy with it. It's just about executing the important actions, showing up to work, doing a good job, whether I was enjoying work or not. Show up, take care of my patients, lock in, don't worry about anything else, and check that box. With family, making sure I'm spending time with them, I'm present with them, at least for a part of the day. Or if I'm away, I'm coming back frequently, I'm calling. Those seeds are being watered. With my health, making sure I'm going to the gym, just like I said I would, I'm following my plan, I'm sticking to whatever lifestyle that I've decided for myself. Feelings don't matter, mood doesn't matter, all of these things are being executed upon. And how you decide to structure your own pillars and what habits you decide to do within them is obviously going to depend on your own life situation and your goals. But I'm just saying, before thinking of, hey, what's my life's purpose? How do I fulfill my potential? Should I do this side hustle or this business? Make sure that these foundations are locked in first. Whether you love your career or not, it's going to take care of at least giving you some stable money. The gym is going to take care of your body and your mind. Family is very important, at least it is to me. Maybe your three pillars are different. But now with money, health, and people handled, not optimized, not maxed out, but just the foundations handled, it gives you breathing room and time and energy to focus on the actual stuff in layer two that leads to a great life, not just a good life. And again, the real goal is to run layer one on autopilot, as little willpower and decision making as possible. Not that you shouldn't enjoy these things, but it should be so automatic that it feels like, yeah, this is just what I do. It doesn't take anything from me to do any of these things or take care of any of these things. For me in my career, I know at this point how much hospital work and call work I want to do, how much clinic work I want to do, how many patients I want to see in the clinic. I've got that figured out. So every month basically looks the same. And I don't really think about it anymore. And when I'm at work, I don't think about anything else. It's the patient in front of me. My phone's on do not disturb. Nothing else matters. I do the best I can for them. And then when I leave work, I don't think about work at all. For my body and my health, I eat basically the same meals every day. I go to the gym 4 times a week. I play some kind of sport or go on a hike. The other 3 days a week, sauna daily, execute. With my family, I visit them at least once a month. When I'm away, it's a daily FaceTime, sending memes, whatever, some kind of communication. And what this accomplishes is that layer one becomes such a strong foundation that if I do nothing else, if I don't max out my potential, if I don't find my purpose in life, if I just wake up and act like that robotic algorithm we talked about at the beginning, I'm going to have a pretty decent life. It's not going to be a great life. I may not be as happy as I could be, but there's a certain peace in knowing that, hey, if I just execute on these things, I'm not going to starve. I'm going to have a roof over my head. I'm going to have people in my life. I'm going to be relatively healthy just by taking care of this stuff alone. And what that allows for is everything else. Layer one is discipline. So in layer two, you get to express creativity and freedom. Layer one is the boring, monotonous, simple stuff. Layer two, you get to think deep. You get to think philosophically. What's my purpose? What am I here to do? What are my big, audacious goals? What are my actual dreams? And I find that this structure actually allows you to chase after those big things because you have the confidence and the backup of your foundation. Whereas if you're just high in the sky thinking about dreams all the time and following this social media algorithm of, hey, yeah, just quit your job and do whatever you want, man, you'll make it someday. Like, it's just, maybe that works for some people, but for the vast majority of people, certainly for myself, that would put me in a horrible position. I like having structure. I like having some semblance of safety and guarantee. And I find that that gives me such strong footing to go after my bigger dreams because you're not as afraid to fail. It's like, even if I do try this and I fail, I still fall back to a decent 80% life. Obviously, I want 100% life and I'm still going to try for that. But having that 80% in hand is what allows you the reps to go after that 100%. So if layer one was all about habits and not using willpower or creativity, layer two is the opposite. It's about being creative, trying new things, maximizing your serendipity and creating luck for yourself. Again, you don't want to be some robot just doing routines for everything, having a system for everything, never actually doing anything for art's sake or creativity's sake or its own sake. You want to have room in your life for that. That's where the spice is. And think about it, everything big in your life, every lucky break, every unexpected person that you met that turned out great, some idea that you randomly got, it comes from these layer two things where you're not just doing the same thing every day, but you're actually giving yourself the time and energy to try new things, to talk to God, to meditate, to listen to what your soul is telling you. You can't schedule luck into some routine or into your calendar, but you can absolutely engineer situations where you're increasing your surface area of luck. So this looks like traveling as much as you can, seeing what's going on locally around you and just showing up to stuff, shaking hands, picking up a new hobby. I recently just got a violin out of nowhere. Last year I picked up tennis. The year before that it was golf. The year before that it was marksmanship. So many great experiences, so many people met that I otherwise never would have. So many cultures explored, history learned, interesting insights, ideas that came to me, including this channel, just from doing random shit that I otherwise wouldn't be doing in my layer one foundations. Things that I would think are a waste of time even. Reading old 500-page classic books like Dostoevsky, even though there's no step-by-step self-development routine in there, it's probably one of the most useful and best books I've ever read because you actually have to think about what's going on. It's not just spoon-fed to you. And just reading that book or trying to learn how to play the violin, it doesn't directly make me any money, or it's not productive in the algorithmic way we think about things. And that's the point. It's not efficient. It looks like wasted time until these things add up and they just change your life. When I was in college, I was so hyper fixated on my layer one, which was getting into medical school, and my whole life revolved around that. And it worked out in the productivity sense. I achieved my goal. I got in on my first try and that was great. But now when I look back, I have zero memories from college, no fun nights, nothing I look back at and tell a story about, and that absolutely sucks. I'll never get that period of my life back again. And butterfly effect's a real thing. I mean, who knows how it would have worked out the other way around. But my point is, if I applied this back then, where I took care of what I needed to take care of and then used the rest of my time to explore, to have fun, to see what else is out there, imagine how different my life would be at that time. I was lucky enough that I kind of learned this during med school, and my med school experience ended up being way better. But that's why I'm trying to tell you, the younger you are and the more you can understand this and apply it, the better off you're going to be. And layer two is where the fun is. That's where you get to dream and be like, hey, if anything was possible, if I could never fail, what would I go after? And I can actually take those reps now. You have the internet, you have AI, you have all these tools that allow you to just try things on the side and just go on these little side quests and see what happens. And that's what layer two is. You just don't know what's behind that door, but that strong foundation in layer one is what allows you to knock on these doors and see what's there. And that's why the order, in my opinion, is important. And you should absolutely do the safe thing, the sure thing, and take care of layer one. And I know that goes against all this follow your dreams, go after your passion stuff on social media. And by all means, I mean, you're an adult with free will, do whatever you want. But I'm just saying, for me, having that strong foundational layer, that provided way more freedom and creativity and the actual courage to go after my bigger goals, because I knew that if it all went to shit and nothing came of it, I would at least have good memories and a solid life to fall back on. If you're just all risk, all serendipity, no foundation, then think about how differently you're going to approach those opportunities. You're going to be so desperate, feeling like this has to work because I have no other choice. And you're going to carry this sort of neediness of things needing to go your way, and it's going to limit your creativity and the amount of risk you're willing to take. Whereas if you take care of layer one and you have a strong foundation, then you go out there and you're like, hey, I don't even care if this fails. I'm just going to learn if I fail. Otherwise, I'm going to win. It's all good. I'm going to go to this event and the people I see, I'm going to shoot my shot. And hey, you know what? If they don't like me, I already took care of my foundations. I have a great family life. I have great close friends. This doesn't destroy me. AI is the next new big thing. Here, let me try to build something. All it's going to cost is a few tokens and maybe a membership at one of these frontier models, but let me take the swing. What's the harm? If it fails, great. I have a solid career I fall back on. Like, I know we all love these heroic stories of so-and-so dropped out of this school and built $1 billion thing. And yes, they're out there, and I hope that you're one of them, and I wish that I was one of them. But for the vast majority of people, this is the more realistic and practical path. Like, it sounds sexy, burn all the boats and just go after what you want. But let me tell you, it's a whole lot harder to tap into your creativity and write music from the soul when you know, hey, you have to sell these records in order to survive. Versus when there's money in the bank, you've taken care of the things that are going to give you a solid 60, 70, 80% life, then you have that room to breathe, to play around, to play your music from the soul. And it doesn't matter. Whoever is supposed to like it is going to like it, and the others won't, and it won't affect you. So that's why it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can do both. You can have stability and safety and assurances and go after your dreams and swing for the fences, because in this day and age, we actually have the resources and the time and the energy to get that done. So again, to review the framework, take care of your foundations first. Routines, habits, absolutely locked in. For me, the three pillars that made up the foundation were my body and health, career and very basic investing and personal finance, and then the third one, family and close relationships. Your pillars, depending on what's important for you, might be different, but these are three very good starting points. And we'll obviously talk more about each of these in different videos. So remember, layer one, built on structure and discipline. And then layer two, maximizing serendipity, creating your own luck, trying as many new and different things as you possibly can. Whatever you're inspired by, whatever idea you have, whatever dream you had as a kid, doing a version of all those things as much as you possibly can. No routines, no optimization, just random chaos and fun. And then enjoy the serendipity that comes from doing all that and just shaking up the jar and see what it produces for you. The lucky breaks you get, the people you meet, the cool new hobbies you pick up, the stuff you learn, the ideas that pop up in your head. Like, trust me, guys, life gets real fun in layer two, but it's built within the pillars of layer one. So that's pretty much it for this one. Like I said, if I was in my late teens and early 20s and not as stubborn as I was, and if someone showed me this and I listened, the last 10 years of my life would have been exponentially better. So hopefully you're catching this at the right time, and the next 10 years of your life are exponentially better. I know the next 10 years of mine will be. I hope that was helpful for you. Young me, if you're out there and you're listening, we're doing pretty well, man. It's all making sense. The dots are all connecting, and we're going to keep going. And for the rest of you, be sure to check the description for the newsletter and the resources we're working on for you. Let me know what you want to hear about next, what you might find helpful, what younger me might have found helpful, and I'll try my best to get it done. Go out there, live your life, don't just exist, and I'll see you next time.